Hi YouTubers, I can only talk until my outreach comes. Hair should be... My hair was so messy because I just showered. It's all over the place. 1 minute. Let's do my head in. Should be like that. Yeah, should be like that. Anyway, I've just been watching my friend Jess's vlog. Vlogmas Day 10. About her notebook. She's not alone. I think having autism, for me anyway, I can go through phases. Like I can go through, I know this and this about this particular fact, phases. But for me, I can go through phases where I want all of this and all of that, and I want every... For instance, when my dog Tigger died, I wanted all the Tigger things I can, all the Tigger teddy friends, teddy bears, Tigger merchandise, like soft Tigger things I could ever imagine. I wanted it. I don't anymore, as much, but I still like Tigger. But that's a completely, but that's because I like Tigger. Anyway, but for me, I go through phases as well. At the minute, mine is notebooks, but they're not notebooks. They might look like notebooks, but until the diary runs out. Because the backup diaries until the last one's used up. I have a box down there of about 4 or 5 already that's full to the brim of diary entries, and I call her Deborah. Deborah the Diary. It just rolls off the tongue. That's why I came up with Deborah the Diary. And they're down there in that box, about 4 or 5 full diaries. I got one that's actually a notebook that I turned into a diary when I didn't have any. And I got one here that I'm waiting to use because I want that. But I did notice that when it comes to diary entries, a hardback diary is better than a floppy one like this. This kind of diary may be okay to take with you, but 1, you won't get many diary entries in that thin thing, and 2, it's flimsy. You'd have to do the whole like this and then flip it over and lean on it a bit, or you'll have to do the whole you have to lean on a table thing with that kind of notebook. But I've got around, actually, you know what? I think I've got around like 6 or 10. I'd say 10 backups, waiting to be used. You know what? I'm gonna do a Jess. Come on, mate. I'm gonna find out how many I've got. But I think I started doing this because Jess did. Like, started having backups. Because I like to copy. That's part of who I am as well. I copy. I just realised they're more than I thought. And they're in order, so I have to be careful. So, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 backups. Less than Jess, but it's still 16. I didn't know I had that many. And no, none of them are copies, because I make sure of it. most of these, I have to stress, are Poundlands or the odd Tiger. But there is, I never go to the Works because I find that too expensive. But I do go to Asda. They've got nice books. I am thinking about get one of each of the nice books in Asda next year, because they're £3 a pop, and that I can afford. I can't afford the expensive ones. I can afford the 3 ones, maybe a fiver max. But I need to stop buying them. Well, I might stop buying them, once they reach to the top of the shelf, and then I'll have enough. I think the reason I buy them is because I worry about running out. That's one of the things I worry about, is running out. That's why these days, if I have a spare tenner in my pocket, it's not going to notebooks, it's not going to things like that. It's going towards food and drink. Mostly drink, actually. There's this shop that me and my support go to each week called Springways, which is like cheap for pop and chocolate, and it's kind of like heroin in a way, with store-bought things. It's kind of that cheap as well. It's like, by the way, like, I don't know, a pack of choc ices are £1. And depends on the offer, but sometimes they have those big bottles of Diet Coke for £1.50. It's just you got to look at the dates, because the dates aren't really that good sometimes. But what I'm saying is, that's what I spend my spare tenner on these days, because after Christmas I'm saving up to upgrade the Reborns that I have, because those are adequate. They just don't look realistic to me now that I look back on it and look at what you can get. Oh, that's just somebody going by. I thought it was my support, because I got support soon. So yeah, I'm just doing a response to Jess's, and I'm just going to call this Jess, You're Not Alone, because she is so not alone. I know someone who's collects a lot of teddy friends. So that person holds that. And I notice it happens more and more with people with autism than anything else, is that we like to hoard things as well as know things. We like to hoard things. Until I had this sort out of my house, I hoarded teddy friends as well. But I'm having a huge sort out because I wanted to make this house a home for me and me alone. I've went through a journey and I'm still going through it. Let's see what else she's saying. Oh, she's talking about spending. It took me a hell of a long time to learn about budgeting, and I'm still learning. The only reason why I'm better than I was is because I'm not allowed to overspend. My bank account won't let me. If I don't have it, then I can't spend it. That's what the bank does. It's like, you don't have it, you can't spend it. That's what they do. If I didn't have that in place, then I would be up a certain creek without a paddle. And owe loads of money. I would have owed loads of money by now if their bank would let me spend money I don't have. But I didn't do a no buy. I did a less money. But the way Jess is doing it, it's each to their own. And for me, when I was getting the extra money, I would normally spend it on notebooks, or I would spend it on me. No, I wouldn't. I was seeing Kieran at the time when I was... shouldn't have said his name. I was with a certain somebody at the time, so I spent all of my money on him. So that's why my money was reduced. But if it went back up again, it would be just me. I would spend the money on just me. Do things that I want to do. Because the only money I get each week now is 40 from my food shop and 40 play money, basically, where I can do whatever I want with it. But since I'm saving up to go to buy my reborns, then that only leaves me 20. So that's 10 for Springways, and then that extra tenner I normally spend, since I know that since I know that Christmas is sorted. Oh, for Pete's sake. Sorry, I've just got a message and I don't want to know. I've got enough on my plate as it is. That's... I swear to God. I don't care. Honestly, there's some people in my life I don't even give a... I don't care. There's some people in my life I don't care about. Honestly, I don't. There's some people in my life I don't care about. Anyhow, better well saying that I noticed that I hold things. And it's not until I do sort outs of my house that I realise what I do hold. In my dining room, I've got some shelves. I've got so much sellotape. I've got like 20-30 rolls of this kind of sellotape. And that's because I felt like I was running out. I've got like the same amount on scissors because I thought I was running out. I can easily do hairbrushes as well. Basically, I stockpile so much stuff because I worry about running out. That's the worry about me, is I worry that I'm not going to run out of the unnecessary things. I should be doing that with food and pop and things like that. But I don't. I do that with things that are necessary, like sellotape, notebooks. I don't even remember when this started, completely honest, my tendency to hoard. But it got bad at one point. Well, twice. It got bad twice. It got bad when I was on the verge of moving out of my mum's house. But we had to empty my bedroom because I wanted to tidy it, basically. And when we did empty my bedroom, there was a lot of stuff hidden in corners and everything that filled my mum's bedroom that had a double bed in it, twofold. So it was a lot of stuff. I do regret getting rid of the stuff I did get rid of back then. But that's when I first noticed that I was a hoarder. Then the second time I noticed that I was a hoarder is when I moved here. No. I think 2 years ago, actually, like 2 years ago when I was living here. Because now I'm noticing how after the decluttering that I'm doing, I keep doing it recently, I'm slowly getting rid of a lot of stuff, and I still have a lot of stuff. Most of the stuff I'm getting rid of are teddy fans, actually. But there are some teddy fans I'm keeping till the day I die. But I don't know what I'm going to do with them once I am dead. But that's the next generation's problem. And I don't really want to think about that. What I want to think about is I'm the same. I'm the absolutely same as Jess. that I hoard things too. And someone else I know hoards things as well, and keeps buying them, thinking that it's never going to be enough. I've heard horror stories from on YouTube and things like that about people. It's always someone with a disability that hoard things. I've seen people hoard trains. I've seen people hoard like those tow trains in boxes in mint condition. I've seen people hoard trays or Disney merchandise because they love Disney. I've even seen normal people, well, NTs, we call them, or non-Aspies, hoarding a lot of stuff. So she's not alone. That's why it's not a big deal for me when I hear that sort of thing, that she's worried about hoarding. She just needs to understand that she's not alone. A lot of people hoard things. So I'm going to actually call this video, Jess, You're Not Alone.